Speaking of the industry, it's been quite a busy week with hip hop news.
Man,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I was while I was waiting for my flight, man, I've been over here trying to watch that Diddy shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it too much, man. But it's a lot going on in hip hop. You know what I mean? And like I said, prayers for Cassie, and prayers for Diddy. So it's a lot going on out there, man.
Yeah. So, what do you think of hip hop's image when stuff like this is in the media, mainstream media?
The unfortunate thing about it, bro, is I feel like a lot of things get tricky when you in a love hate relationship. You know what I mean? You got to understand. I think Puff and Cassie was together for 10 years, and I'm sure there was a lot of weird shit going on. But I also understand that there probably was some love and some great times through that situation too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you intertwine both of those particular situations, man, shit starts getting tricky. You know what I mean? And things start getting a little bit wild. So again, prayers to Cassie, prayer to Puff. However, this situation works out. Hopefully, a lot of the new artists and old, a lot of the new artists and a lot of the old artists. I hope that hopefully they learn from this particular situation. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always a learning lesson because I'm pretty sure other artists and legends and everything is watching how
Right.
everything's playing out to maneuver themselves in the media.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also news with Tory Lanez being
Yeah.
up, and then he had a
Yeah.
conference yesterday.
The Tory Lane situation, man. I was trying to follow up on that too. I mean, we always sometimes you don't really know what is what. Like I said, same with him. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't there, so I can't blame right or wrong or right. But, you know, if he didn't do what they accused him of doing, man, hopefully that they do the right thing and get him out get him out of prison and get him home with his family. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
feel like, he sat in there, he handled his business. The unfortunate situation that, there was some jealousy or some ego or whatever happened where somebody stabbed him up. But again, if it comes out, and there's proof and, you know, eyewitness account that he wasn't the one who shot Megan, then he definitely needs to come home. But like I said, I wasn't there, you wasn't there. The only thing we know is what they're telling us. So, hopefully the right logistics and people figure that out.
that's true because I've heard uh, a different story of what happened, but I don't want
Right.
to give my sources, but it's sort of what you're saying is like there's a lot of like different theories
And
and everything. It's not like straight cut as I'm seeing online a lot of people are saying.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess everyone's gonna have an opinion anyway. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
that's how
Yeah.
social media is.
Man, I say it again, man. Like I said, prayers to everybody involved in whatever justice that needs to be dealt. I hope that it happens, good or bad, for whoever. You know what I mean? I wasn't there, so I can't really speak on it. But what's right is right, and hopefully justice prevails to whoever is needed for that. Basically,
Yeah. I seen Wack 100 came out and said that he knew what the situation was inside there with the prison.
yeah,
I know that you're on Games label and Wack 100 is Games manager. Have you ever
right.
met Wack 100?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Wack. I know Wack, man. I know Wack for a while. You know what I'm saying? Wack is definitely an OG over there. I know people got a lot of different viewpoints and opinions on Wack. You know what I mean? Some people like him, some people hate him. You know what I mean? Um, I feel like if you necessarily don't know Wack 100%, I feel that you may have some type of ill will, because Wack is just a straight shooter. You know what I mean? What I mean by that is, he's gonna
it's
speak his
straight.
piece. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's gonna speak his piece, right or wrong or indifferent, and he's gonna stand on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, Like I said, I've known Wack for a long time. You know what I mean, and he's managed game for a long time, and we have a relationship and a respect. You know what I'm saying, for each other. So, you
Yeah,
know, Wack knows a lot. You know what I'm saying. He's tapped in with a lot of people. So, I mean, he's always said that he felt that Tory was innocent. You know what I'm saying.
yeah.
And he's always stood on the side of Tory. So, like I said, maybe he knows something that we don't. But again, anybody in that particular situation, I hope that it works out for the best for the people it needs to work out for.